The first step to healing trauma from the Jezebel is to learn how to appreciate beauty again and to recognize that you can have this inner gentleness in yourself without feeling like you're going to lose your strength because of the appreciation of beauty. Now, the godly bad boy has simply grown out of his naivete when it comes to understanding female nature and understanding female nature. When you let go of trying to control women and to get a specific outcome when it comes to women, there's a sense of peace that flows over you and through you. And the Jezebel SLUTs out there are going to be determining a lot of different factors when it comes to how they try to use you going forward. And if you just don't let them use you, you have proper boundaries and you enforce the boundaries. You don't just set the boundaries, you enforce the boundaries. That's going to be the real key. Now, this can be very tempting for a lot of people to want to go back to that Jezebel, right? And the reason why is because the Jezebel can be very addictive. And the men who are addicted to this high that she gives them, they don't remember the lows. You know, like a lot of the men that I've worked with, and even myself, right? When I've had the Jezebels in the past, the Jezebel, think about the archetype of the Jezebel as like a narcissistic woman who is so covert, not always covert, but most of the time covert, and so covert to the degree that she can maneuver her way into your life and seduce you into giving her and letting her take everything from you. Now remember that malevolent spirits, malevolent spirits have to be invited into your life. This is exactly one of the reasons why in vampire lore, the vampires cannot enter into a house unless they're invited in. So malevolent spirits, like the Jezebel, have to be invited in. You are the one that invited the devil in. You're the one that invited demons into your life, so to speak, right? Now, I am not necessarily a proponent of the encouraging of demonic thoughts or anything of the sorts, or thinking about demons or devils in a certain way, but the case is that there are new levels and there will be new devils until there is a new you. And then you'll get to the point in which there are no more levels anymore. There's just a process. Levels disappear after a while when you're on this path. Levels don't really exist. Once you're on a timeline that is oriented towards timelessness and you are oriented from yourself inwardly into a place of timelessness, there's no need to think about the world in regard to levels or devils or anything of the sort, because although it can be useful and helpful to identify, don't be so caught up in seeing reasons to think that women are evil or people are evil, or like, don't get so caught up in this one bad experience, because don't get me wrong, like, it can be very, very traumatic, and it could take, weeks, months, or even years to truly heal from the position that you're in when it comes to healing from the Jezebel trauma. Because this Jezebel SLUT trauma, she's going to be, I don't really know if I can say the word on YouTube, so that's why I'm being a little bit more cautious here. But the Jezebel, she has a particular way of going about this. And there's going to be a few signs and indications in which you can see, okay, this is how she works here, this is how she's doing that, this is how she's doing this. Okay, so what exactly do I want to do here to maneuver a certain way? Because they do try to put spells on your life. Now think about this. You might not believe in witchcraft, you might not believe in all this stuff, but for those of you that have eyes to see and ears to hear, spiritually speaking, the ones that see with a spiritual eye, you know that this whole universe is essentially made up of words. Okay, think about what Terence McKenna has talked about as well, is that Terence McKenna had a psychedelic trip where he realized that the universe is made up of words, right? And this is one of the reasons why I think in the Bible, the book of John talks about how in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Okay, well, what exactly does that mean? It means that language itself and how you have the symbolic narrative field that you feed into your life is going to be determining the outcome of your own experiences. So I think about the symbolic narrative field in the Regal timeline theory when it comes to the Regal change old timers. You're going to know what I'm talking about here. So in the Regal timeline theory, I talk about the symbolic narrative field. This is a neutral energy field in which you feed it certain thought algorithms, and it's going to reflect certain things back into your life. Now, when you're with the Jezebel has not integrated her animus. She's not integrated the totality of masculine experiences inside her psyche. Therefore, she's going to project her animus onto other people, specifically men, right? So when she does this projection of her animus, she's either going to see you as something to control or something to destroy. There's no in between. Those are going to be the two things that the Jezebel is going to try to do. She's going to try to control you, or she's going to try to destroy you. Because if she can't control you, she's going to try to destroy you. And if she can destroy you, well, she might just control you long enough until she can destroy you. Or maybe the control is the form of destruction for her. So she does not want to integrate anything. She does not want to have a healthy relationship with men. She doesn't need a man. She hates men. All these things, and yet she wants to do nothing more than to be a man, basically. So when it comes to integrating your own gentleness and overcoming the trauma of the Jezebel, you have to recognize that you need to give yourself some grace, man. You need to give yourself some grace, because any man can get got. Any man can get got, and you have to have full trust in the soul of existence that whatever's going on or whatever's happened or whatever is happening for a good reason or a good I wouldn't even say a good reason or a good anything, really. It's that you trust that whatever you're experiencing is going to lead to a deeper understanding and an understanding. For those of you that don't know my language here, a deeper understanding of what it means to actually live peacefully in your own mind. Because to have peace in your own mind, it doesn't mean that you don't feel certain things. It doesn't mean that you don't try to be better. It just means that you're not attached to what's happening on the external world. Like you have this mode of being in which you, so this is what's going on. Okay, this is what's going on. Okay. Oh, okay. You just have that attitude. And attitude is everything when it comes to the spiritual process, because it is indeed a process, especially overcoming the trauma of the Jezebel SLUT. That like she is she's a feisty one. She's relentless, and she's not going to give up. And this is why you as a man, like, you have to recognize that if you don't have a stoic, disciplined perspective of life, the probability of you getting got by a Jezebel is going to go exponentially higher. And I'm not saying that you have to be like you have to follow Stoicism or anything like that, but I do think Stoic philosophy is very useful, and it's very helpful, and it's very impactful and powerful. But all of these experiences will turn you into the godly bad boy. Because it's the naive, like, have you ever seen those naive, godly people? I mean, you can just look at these, specifically the men, right? Because I think men, like, it's more acceptable for women to be kind of a little bit more like a doe in headlights, or a deer in headlights, rather. When they look at something that's kind of like, oh, you know, they have the raised eyebrows and kind of looking at things like, oh, wow. There's this innocence and purity about them. But it's not really a sense of purity, right? It's a kind of just a more naive innocence. And that naive innocence for women can really get taken advantage of. And that's where even women have to be careful with the Jezebels, because the Jezebel spirit, I would say, can inhabit men and women. It's not to say that, because again, we can't get so caught up with titles. You can think about the Jezebel spirit as like the spirit of Kali in Hinduism, right? Have you ever seen an image of the goddess Kali in Hinduism? Holy smokes, dude. I mean, she's like got her tongue out, and she's got her head cut off of a man over here. She's stepping on Shiva. I mean, it's just total, complete domination. And women are very powerful, right? Like, they can be very powerful like that. But women like that, I don't think they truly appreciate beauty. I don't think they can. I think women, they want the material things. They want to be a man. That's really what they want. They want to be a man. They want to have the power of the man, but the responsibility of a child. And that's exactly what this Jezebel type spirit wants. It's the same type of thing with the men out here. I've seen a lot of men, very, very many men, who are so infatuated with what women think of them, or with what, social networks are thinking of them, social media is thinking of them. Oh, I just don't want to, it's draining my energy. It's draining this, it's draining that. But that's all that they can talk about. It's all that they can talk about. And so you think to yourself, well, if this is all you can talk about, then like, what's going on in your life? Because again, this comes back to the symbolic narrative energy field that you're feeding into. That symbolic narrative field is neutral. What you feed into it is going to reflect back to you. So sometimes the best way to get into a new type of framework for your symbolic narrative field is to literally ignore reality. Ignore the Jezebel SLUTs, ignore them, and stay focused on what you want to have happen. Focus on the godly types of women. Even if you don't believe it. I'm not even saying believe anything. Don't believe anything. I'm not a believer in anything. I don't believe. I experience and I know. That's it. I don't need to believe anything. I can verify with my own experience, or I can verify with trusted sources, and I can just trust the soul of existence. And it's like, well, how do you determine a trusted source? Well, how do you feel? Do you feel the highs, or do you feel kind of like like plain chicken, right? Like chicken by itself, I kind of think it's tasty, but a lot of people think plain chicken is kind of plain, right? It's kind of plain. It's like, well, life is kind of like plain chicken, at least the healthy kinds. Healthy kinds of life and healthy forms of life and relationships are kind of like plain chicken. They're not really meant to be super, ferocious and hyperactive. Like the Jezebel, when you're around a Jezebel spirit, you feel like super elated, right? Like it's just, you're high on life. Like you are literally like intoxicated. It's like Dionysus himself has given you this serum of wine that just like, whoa, whoa. You know, you are just on cloud nine, and as high as the mountaintops are, so too will be the valleys of death. Like the man, oh man. Because you can be high. Like, I remember this one time with the Jezebel, man. Dude, I mean, super hot. Oh, like my type, Latina. And, you know, afterward, I'd feel super high and super elated. And oh my gosh. I mean, this was years ago, right? This was years ago. But I'd feel super high and elated and just like, you know, I'd listen to music and I'd be completely lost in the music. And I'd look at the experiences that I'll have and just like, I'm drunk on this high that she's given me, right? And then here comes the low. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Dude. The low of the low from the Jezebel SLUT, man. Like, man, she's fun and she's toxic. Like, toxicity is kind of fun. I'm not saying that you need to be toxic. I'm saying the truth. Like, you wouldn't be with the Jezebel and you wouldn't have this issue of overcoming the trauma with the Jezebel unless you found it to be fun in some kind of shape or form. And so, yeah, it's kind of fun, man. It's kind of, wow, what a fun time, right? What an interesting time. But then the lows come and you go into the valley of the shadow of death. And you're like, oh my gosh, she just took everything from me. She took my life force. She took my energy. She took everything. Oh, and you feel sick to your stomach. Even just thinking about it, man, like, man, it just like, it makes your stomach feel queasy. Makes your stomach feel like, there's just not much to like actually live for. You get kind of nihilistic and you feel like life is just meaningless. You feel so empty that you're bloated in your belly and your shoulders kind of quiver and nothing tastes the same. You know, nothing looks the same. You don't have, like, when you look at the sun or when you look like outside, you don't get that like glowy yellow feeling from the sun anymore. You just kind of feel like everything's black and there's this darkness. It's because she took your light, man. It's because she took your light. It's because the Jezebel SLUT took your motherfucking light. She took it. And why? Because you invited her in. It's your fault. It's your fault. And once you take responsibility and acceptance of that responsibility with the Jezebel, everything starts to work out a little bit better for you. Because then you have to have boundaries and you recognize that you have to have boundaries. And it doesn't mean that you can't be kind to people, but it means that you have to learn how to appreciate beauty again with boundaries. So, with all that being said, that will turn you into the godly bad boy. Because that's when you recognize, like, you yourself kind of have to have an edge. You yourself have to have that godly bad boy edge, but you also have to have that disciplined stoicism to you. And when you have that disciplined stoicism, and you can live with the flow of life, and you can look at the sun, and you can look outside, and you can appreciate the beauty of nature, you can be one with the cosmic energy of the life source of this world and the universe, you can get some relief. So with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you. Stay blessed. Peace. Until next time.